The Canadian Pediatric Society says the IUD is the most effective method of birth control, but thousands of women have reported health problems after getting one, such as stabbing pain, nausea, pelvic inflammatory disease, and ovarian cysts. Sarah Beaudin is one of those women, and she shares her story with us.
I couldn't leave the house because I was in so much pain. I wanted to have a normal life. I was trying really hard to just enjoy any regular activity. Being repeatedly told I was wrong when I knew the whole time that I had something physically in my system was so frustrating. I got the Jadis IUD in November of 2015. It was completely fine for 2 years. In October of 2017, I started to feel UTI symptoms. I had back pain, and all of a sudden I was so nauseous and doubled over. And so that's when I went to the hospital, and it turned out to be a UTI that spread to the kidneys. And that was bad enough where I was put on antibiotics. When I finished the round of antibiotics, I still had symptoms. And that's when I started to think, well, maybe it has something to do with my IUD. I went to a walk-in clinic after my first round of antibiotics and expressed concern that maybe there was something going on with my IUD, and that's why I was still feeling the UTI symptoms. And I was told by 2 different doctors on 2 different occasions, there's no possible way it could be the IUD. The Bay Women's Health Center was the first place that said, it is a possibility it's the IUD. If you'd like, we can remove it. But unfortunately, when I went back for that procedure, she said that she couldn't locate the strings of the IUD, and she was having difficulty removing it without them. When I finally got to see a doctor, I asked for an X-ray or more thorough imaging just to 100% make sure that the IUD was in fact in its proper position. He said, we can see, but I'll take a look first. So when he took a look, he just all of a sudden goes, I got it, and yanks it out. I wasn't on any antibiotics in that week, but somehow Monday, my body was testing positive for an infection. By Friday, after I'd had it removed on Wednesday, I didn't have any existing infection. In a sense, it was very validating that I knew it had to have been the IUD based on how I was testing negative after it was removed versus I seemed to have an infection when it was in. I just really felt strongly like something had to have been off with my IUD. I still feel very frustrated that no doctor I spoke with seemed to think outside the box, and I just don't want anyone else to experience that.
The Jadis IUD is no longer available in Canada. The manufacturer Bayer says, quote, the decision to discontinue Jadis was made after an in-depth review of Bayer Canada's product portfolio, a look at therapeutic alternatives, and the needs of both customers and patients in Canada. The decision was taken for commercial reasons, and the favorable benefit-risk profile of Jadis remains unchanged. Tomorrow, we hear from another woman and her experience with the IUD.